August has been very, very greedy this week and leading us into the first two, so take it away.
Oh, all right, I guess. So now we are going over to Iran. Um, and this was published on AP News on September 28th of this year. And it goes over I think it's been all over the media, the Iranian protests about the hijabs and headscarves that women or people assigned female at birth are forced to wear there. And it sounds like such a beautiful thing until you realize there are a few martyrs, and it's just they shouldn't have had to be a martyr, but it's become a real problem. People are getting physically beat. There's been so many problems, and these women are just so brave to do this. But actually, one woman that specifically chanted, it appears that she was chanting "Death to the dictator," and she allegedly died in police custody. She was arrested by what they call morality police, taken to the Capitol, and then died in custody. And obviously, we all know that was not an accident. So I want to go ahead and pass it off to Cindy to know your thoughts.
It's funny because this article was written on the 28th of September, and as today we are recording, they are still going on. Gilliver last weekend did a piece on it. It was very interesting, and he was showing teenage girls protesting. And when I say teenage, I mean 16 to 17. I mean that's so brave. We know how brutal the Iranian government can be, and those young girls, they're outside and they're protesting, and fiercely protesting, I would say. So I'm really impressed, not just by the length of the protests, but also by its strength. It's we need to remember that 60% of the population in Iran are below 20 years old. So it's a very young country. And the problem here is a bit like with Putin in Ukraine. The government is being pushed in a corner, and usually autocrats, they tend to react very strongly when they're cornered. So I'm afraid of what's going to happen in the next weeks. I hope this will goes well, but I'm not extremely confident. But yeah, kudos to them. They're very brave and very impressive.
Yeah, I want to touch on something Autumn said in August. I don't know why I keep doing that. I want to touch
It's okay.
something on something August said. I apologize, August.
You're fine.
And it, in the in the introduction there, when you mentioned the morality police, the technical term for them is the Gash-e-Irshad, which translates as guidance patrols, which is a much softer name than the morality police. And they target people, although it's usually women, as it always is in things like this. And men are technically under scrutiny too, but it is usually women for, among other things, not being dressed morally. I mean, how do, how do you have an entire organization within your country, within your regime, let's say, that is specifically sent onto the streets to make sure people are correctly morally dressed? And this article is not just about the current revolution; it's about the history. And you know, Iran's a really unique country in this respect and in the Middle East because it has had a rich history of not having head coverings and not having these kind of strict clothing policies. In fact, it wasn't until 1979 when the Iranian Revolution deposed the Shah, and in 1983 the new Shiite cleric-led Islamic regime made the veil compulsory, which had originally been banned by the old Shah all the way back in the 1930s. And women have been challenging this rule for many, many, many years. Some have wore looser scarves, and we've seen recently some have public protested against the wearing of the veil at all. And it is a dangerous, dangerous game. And it's gone from being, the big demonstrations, which we have seen a lot of. Figures have said that 41 protesters and police have been killed and up to 1,400 demonstrators arrested. These aren't official figures, I've got to stress this, but it's important. It's important to seek up-to-date and reputable sources if you want to look at this further. So let's go to August.
I want to take a second to break this down to its building blocks. We have to remember what this is. Yes, it's protesting against a religious, theocratic government. It is tyranny. It's horrific. But let's not forget what they're being arrested and killed for. And I know we keep saying it. We keep saying, a headscarf, a hijab. In some places, it's a burqa or the clothing that covers everything except for your eyes. And this is people dying, getting beat, being arrested, and just in general terrorized over a piece of cloth that is supposed to go on only women's heads. So it's already being sexist by targeting women. And when I say women, I mean female, assigned female at birth, because of course they're not going to recognize any sort of gender spectrum, as we know there is. This is a piece of cloth. This is a piece of cloth that they say apparently makes you immoral if you don't wear because of hair. It's unspeakable. I don't understand how it can get to this. And the article says that, some people weren't even, a lot of the women weren't even mad necessarily about the hijab. They were more mad at the fact that they know where this leads. We've seen this so many times before. They start with stuff like this, and then they take away your entire autonomy. You will have no rights. And so it says that March 7th, 1979 was when the new dictator said that everyone, or assigned female at birth people, had to wear a hijab. And it says the very next day, March 8th, which we know is the International Women's Day, tens of thousands of women went in the streets and protest and marched without a veil on. And I want to say I'm proud of them and everything, but I just feel bad for them. They shouldn't have to do this. It's a piece of cloth that's built off of the patriarchy, saying that this arbitrary, dumbass rule that someone just fucking pulled out of their ass is now getting people killed and arrested. It's a piece of cloth over hair. I feel like that's all that needs to be said for this to be horrendous and insane. But anyway, Cindy, take it from here.
Yeah, there's one specific reason why this scarf or this burqa or these veils are imposed. It's because men cannot control themselves, and some Muslims just will say it flat out. It's just because they are too tempting for men, and men can't just control themselves. And so why is it that it doesn't light a bulb in those men's brain to say, hey, we have to cover them because we can't control ourselves. We have a problem, not them. That's so insane. And the second part I wanted to mention, and I want to be quick because I don't want to stay too long away from this specific situation. But I've seen recently on social media Christians saying the same kind of things in the US, like your shorts are too short. You need to. We see almost everything, so you need to cover yourself, and so that's not very good.
Yeah, I must say, as a man, I find it exceptionally difficult every day to just avoid going sexually abusing women because of the clothes they're wearing. It's such a task. No, it's not. It's just you just be fucking respectful. It's it's just a stupid excuse. It's a stupid excuse to try and cover up a stupid religious moral law that you can't justify. That's all it is. That's all it is. You know, this our dusty old book. They like the dusty old books. These men, whether they're Christians or Muslims or Buddhist or Hindus, the dusty old books are very authoritative in their life, and they find themselves making great excuses for them. Like, I've got no control. I can't control myself. It's not. You can't control yourself, mate. You can control yourself. I'm a man. I can control myself. It's easy. Easy, really easy. You just don't listen to your fucking book. And then you're done. It's all sorted. It's all solved. Not difficult at all. August.
Yeah. And, you know, this is actually something that I've struggled with for a long time, even as a person that followed the Christian religion, more or less. Even in that time, I was always so torn about it because I was kind of, if I was driving at that time, I probably would have had a coexist. You know, we all see those bumper stickers of coexist with all the different religions. As I was transitioning out of religion, I had that idea that like, oh, everybody's right, which is just bullshit, obviously. But I'm so torn because my gut tells me this is misogynistic. Just the idea of Islam requiring women to wear hijabs. Obviously, I find the situation in the Middle East horrific. I mean, in general, the religion. I want people to be able to wear what they want, and if you feel more comfortable covering up, you know, anything, literally cover everything. I don't care. It's more the fact that so many people are born into this, they're indoctrinated into this, and they're convinced from unspeakable places. And you're using, like Richard said, the dusty old book. And I feel like they just don't know anything different. And so they convince themselves that this is their choice. I've heard so many women of the Islamic faith saying, oh, well, no, this is my choice. And then I so badly want to ask them, okay, but what would happen if you didn't? Even if you weren't going to get put in jail, even if you weren't going to get beat or harassed, what would legitimately happen to you if you actually decided that it was your choice and you didn't want to make that choice anymore? What would the people of your religion do to you? And obviously that's going to depend on where you are regionally and, you know, which country you reside in. But I get so torn. I'm a feminist. I want, you know, women to feel empowered. And if that means showing everything, go for it. If that means showing nothing, go for it. Fuck if I care, man. If you're not hurting yourself or others, who gives a shit? I don't. I sure as fuck don't. But it's just always something I've struggled with. And I obviously lean more towards I think they're being indoctrinated into the fact that they think it's immoral and dirty to show their hair. But I don't know. I wish people could just fuck off. Like, let people wear what they want to wear. I know it's a cultural thing, but I want people to wear what they want to wear, and not because Sky Daddy will get pissed off because, you know, whoever will start looking at them sexually as if that's their fault. It's like what I believe Cindy said it, like this, we're covering up for the lusts of men. And that's really why they're doing it. Even if they say it's their choice, I'm like, is it really your choice? Because what would happen if you didn't? What would happen if you decided, no, my choice is to actually not? So I don't know.
That's a very good question, and I'm going to touch on that for a bit. First, I just want to say, I hope we can have swearing in the clipping of the mid-rolls, because I hope they just fuck off is my choice for the mid-roll. Okay, so do people have a choice? Cindy, in France, it's as I understand it, the head covering is banned. So how do Muslim women go on there?
Yeah, I haven't followed the situation in France on this very specific topic for a while, but yeah, it's the burqa that's forbidden, and also the some of the longest scarves are forbidden in universities as well, because universities are funded by government, and we're not supposed to have religious signs. There's also the issue sometimes of parents who go help with school trips. If those parents are wearing obvious religious signs, that seems to cause issues sometimes. Yeah, France doesn't have a great record on this. We have a very strong far right, as you could see. They got 44% in the last general election. So sometimes the power in place will try to appeal to some of them and do something like this. But yeah, as August was saying, it's a very strong dilemma to deal with. To on one hand, give power to women to wear what they want, and on the other side, fight the bigotry that's obviously behind these pieces of cloth.
Yeah, and I do want to just jump in real quick and say that I I think I had heard that France had banned it, but not entirely. So I but my inclination is to say I don't agree with that either. I don't want it to be banned. Not even for the religious aspect, even if they are wearing it for their religion. I don't know. I do believe in freedom of religion and freedom from religion. I'm a strong believer in that. You live your religion however you want. If it doesn't affect me, I don't fucking care. So wear your headscarf if you feel like it. I just don't think anyone should be forced one way or another. And I think banning it, while not as bad as forcing it, I think banning it, honestly, in my opinion, is bad too. I want people to do what they want to do. If that means wearing your headscarf, have at it. I want you to feel comfortable. But I don't agree with that either. I don't want it to be banned anywhere. I don't think any clothing, books, nothing should be banned like that. Don't force it on people and don't prevent them from making their own decision. So, Cindy, I don't know how you feel about it being banned, but I support freedom of religion and from religion. And that includes if you're a woman that is in the Islamic faith and you want to do that, or if you just feel like it, you should be able to without the government doing something to you or threatening you or making it illegal. So I do want to hear, Cindy, what you think about it.
So I'm against banning the scarves, but I tend to be a little bit in favor of banning the burqa, because there are other issues there. You cannot see who is behind, and
Yeah, that's a good
yeah,
point.
that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can see that. Richard, what do you think about this? Do you think, the hijab or burqa or both or neither should be banned? What do you think?
Well, the hijab is kind of it's a blanket term, I think, for the head covering, which includes the burqa and niqab.
Oh, okay.
But um, I think, look, women are removing the hijab and publicly burning them. In Iran, people are taking that they're choosing to choose, and that's brilliant. What's unique about this case, I think, in Iran is that a lot of these protests are taking place in the kind of centers of the Islamic leadership and the religious leadership and the conservative areas, and that's what's drawing so much attention from commentators. Uh, I could talk on this subject for hours and hours and hours. We are going to have to start wrapping this one up. But yeah, this is some. Go and read the articles, and email us. Let us know what you think about it.
And while you're down in the
final
description,
thought.
go ahead and press like and subscribe so you can see our pretty faces again. While you're down there, you might as
Doing
well.
my job for me. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, no, it's fine. The more encouragement, the better. Final thoughts, Cindy.
Well, yeah, I really, really hope that they will gain something in the end of this, because again, I think they're super brave, and they're fighting the good fight. So go girls.
August.
People should be able to do whatever the fuck they want to do, and everyone else should fuck off. Pretty much.